Oh my goodness, guys, we've got some breaking news from one of the most trusted news channels next to 8 News and Pew News. Masaaki Sato responds. There's also been a bit of misinformation and a bit of controversy to what he actually said. I've made probably 100 videos on him already, so here's another. So the other day, Masaaki Sato, probably one of the most well-known animators from back on Z and the original series, shared his thoughts on the new movie and its move to CG. And I thought it'd be interesting to share considering his status within this franchise. And unlike with DBS Broly, where you had multiple animators from the industry praising the designs and the movies prior criticizing them, this time around there's sort of been nothing from anyone, so unless I've completely missed something, this is probably one of the first comments from a notable figure again within this franchise. But anyway, let's get to it. So a fan asked for his thoughts on the movie in the thread, and this was his response. Well, part of the charm of hand-drawn animations is that they are subject to the uncertainty principle. I'm not really drawn to full CG, but I don't mind as long as the story is compelling. My honest feeling at the moment is that I can't tell until I've seen it. Now, that's been pretty much my exact thoughts on this film, and is very similar to what I've heard other content creators and some of you guys say, in that the CG aspect is something we're not really interested in, but if the story is good, it could be a fun movie, which again is the main element I'm also personally looking forward to. Now, in regards to the first sentence, he's not referring to quantum mechanics. My guess is that he's sort of referring to the unpredictability or idiosyncratic nature that can come with how movement is portrayed in 2D animation in comparison to 3D, especially in comparison to the footage we've got with the trailers where movements can be rather straightforward with basic arcs, causing it to look robotic in some cases. Moving on though to the original tweet where he made a comment on the shading style seen in the film, which brought a couple of unhappy responses. It's Twitter, but unfortunately it was made a little worse by the fact that some people were sharing his tweet using a Google translation, which isn't the most accurate and is why I had a translator handle it for this video. Anyway, he said, "I can say this about my time there, now that I'm no longer affiliated with the project, meaning affiliated with or working on Dragon Ball, I don't like the way the shadows are drawn. Personally, I always make sure to avoid drawing shadows on the nose like this. I felt it looked lame." Now that is kinda an interesting take. I never actually noticed it before, but now looking back at his work, he usually would just use shading to depict the bottom plane of the nose, and seemed to almost never shade the side plane. Although in fairness, this style of shading isn't exclusive to this movie, you can see it across many animators' work, whether in Z or Super. But right after that, he went on in a separate tweet to say, "Is it mainstream these days to have only one expression painted on a character's expression book? I'm not sure what to make of that." Now, of course, the first sentence is rhetorical. Sato himself is still very much present in the industry, like I went over in detail in the last video. In the past year, he has been working on Record of Ragnarok and just tweeted out the other day the difficulty with the current project he's working on. That could be the second season to that show, or it could be something new entirely. But anyway, regardless, it's definitely a bit of sarcasm from Sato, but it is a valid point. When going through the trailers again, the facial expressions are pretty stock. Like, you have so much of the standard frown, then the gritted teeth, open mouth. That's really it. Then when flicking back to Shintani's sheets for Dragon Ball Super Broly, it's a complete 180 with a plethora of different expressions. They're very energetic and lively. You can see that throughout the trailers. There's actually variety. Now that tweet, unlike the prior one, was translated through a web translator, DeepL. It's better than Google's, still isn't perfect, but what he means in the first sentence when he said character expression book, or should I say how it's roughly translated as, he's referring to the character sheets, also referred to as setai. Now, personally, I don't want to comment too much on this area of Kubota's character sheets, since there aren't any expression sheets currently available, although looking at his past work in terms of facial expressions, they were pretty standard, although in his actual animations they're great, but perhaps that has translated to the film somewhat. I personally thought it was more so on the animators themselves, but it's definitely possible. You can 100% see that in the past with Yamamura's designs, and especially with his supervision, but you do also have Shintani contributing character designs for this film. Like, some of these are definitely his, without a doubt this isn't Kubota, so hopefully his talent there will make its way onto the big screen. However, that's all there was. I've already gone more in depth about my thoughts on this whole move to CG and whatnot in the past, so I'm not going to go over all that again, although I will say it's kinda interesting that the movie is only a couple of months out, yet I just don't see the hype for it. maybe it is out there, but I don't know. Maybe if they release another trailer, it will. I mean, with Broly, there was like 4 trailers, and a lot of them were double the length of what we've got so far. So I would be kind of surprised if there wasn't one sometime this month or the next. Guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.